everybody, it's ShrewBoy303 and welcome back to Pokemon Emerald Randomizer. In the last episode, we scaled the heights of the Sky Pillar to arrive at the top. Don't know what else I can say about that. To find that to awaken Rayquaza. In doing so, Rayquaza flew off back to Sootopolis City. So in this episode, we will be heading back there ourselves. I'm not entirely sure if I can fly there, but I can, so let's fly. I almost started singing the Lana Del Rey song Ride, even though it wouldn't have exactly made something. Intense. Ba-ba. Da-da. Da-da-da. Super intense music. Rayquaza must be God or Jesus. Super lightning speed. I like how they're both just sinking into the borders at the bottom. And with that, Rayquaza once again sends Kyogre and Groudon away to sleep once again. And the world returns to a safe state. But before we head off and do anything else, I would just like to heal my Pokemon. Right. Oh no, Repel's effect wore off. Whatever will I do now? But since the world has returned back to normal, I see Maxie and Archie right there, so I figure it would be a good time to talk to them. Kyogre and Groudon both flew off to who knows where. They can't fly. The weather in Hoenn has returned to its normal state. Maybe what we were trying to do was something small, even meaningless, to Pokemon. So the super ancient Pokemon weren't only Groudon and Kyogre. After all our fruitless scheming and frantic efforts, that one Pokemon's simple action puts everything right again, as if nothing happened. And with that, they skeeve off into nothingness. Matthew, my eyes didn't deceive me. Thanks to your help, Sootopolis, no, all of Hoenn was saved. On behalf of the people, I thank you. This is a gift from me, so please accept it. And yes, for doing all the work, we get the final HM in the game, I believe it is, for Waterfall. If you have the Rain Badge, a Pokemon that has learned that HM move can force its way up waterfalls. And where does one get the Rain Badge? You know, don't you? That's right, you have to defeat the Sootopolis Gym Leader. When you're all set to go, step through that door. It looks like both Maxie and Archie have gone away somewhere. Perhaps they've gone to Mount Pyre to return those orbs. And yes, after restoring the world's order, there is but one thing left to do but challenge this gym. But before I do that, I'm going to do as I do normally. Like, since it's a simple ice physicsy puzzle, I've already buggered it up. But when you fall down here, there are trainers like this. And so off screen, I'm going to battle all of these trainers for obviously just experience. Seeing as though I am hideously underleveled compared to the Pokemon of this gym. So I will cut back and see you once I have done that. Alright, I am back and I've battled all the trainers. In doing so, I realised there weren't as many as I remember. So as a result, Excella only grew 1 level, Gwen managed to grow a level as well, and Jessica grew 2 levels. Other than that, Beryl, Cora and Amanda did nothing. So there's nothing left to do but wander up, and as you can see, this is basically the same sort of concept as the cracked floors in Sky Pillar, except in this, they only break after you step on them twice, and to advance to the next level, you must step on each ice slate once. So if you just follow the same pattern in which I am doing, you should be able to get through with no problems. So do this and it opens a final one. And when I played this game for the first time, I was tremendously bad at this. I didn't understand that you had to break every single one. And when I finally figured out that you had to break every single one, this final standard, well, field or whatever you'd like to call it, was too much for my little brain at the time to comprehend. And with that, we're up at the height of the gym, and we're here in front of Wallace's former mentor, Juan. Let me ask you, did you know? Ah, I should not be so coy. It was I who taught Wallace everything there is to know about Pokemon. Once, I had given up my position as the gym leader. In my place, I had entrusted Wallace with the gym. However, a compelling reason arose for me to make a comeback. Ah, but enough chatter. Let us begin our match, shall we? Please, you shall bear witness to our artistry, a grand illusion of water sculpted by the Pokemon and myself. Juan, I'm assuming, is like a Spanish or Mexican name, and for some reason I decided to make him French. And again, just like normal, I will be going over each of his Pokemon. First up, Luvdisc, level 41, 41, Swift Swim for the ability, so doubles its speed in rain. Knows the moves Water Pulse, Attract, Sweet Kiss, and Flail. And although Luvdisc is a pretty weak Pokemon, that Attract and Sweet Kiss could spell trouble if it actually manages to get the hits off. But luckily enough, we outspeed it and take it down with no problems. Next up is Whiscash. Oh, and also before I forget, I taught Jessica Giga Drain in replacement of Mega Drain. So, second Pokemon, Whiscash, level 41, Oblivious for the ability, meaning it can't be inflicted with Infatuation status. Knows the moves Rain Dance, Water Pulse, Earthquake, and Amnesia. So, this, if you don't have a decent Grass-type move, this could spell trouble, seeing as though Amnesia heightens its special defense, meaning it is more resilient against the only type that it's weak against. And unfortunately that didn't do as much damage as I'd liked. And of course he does get the Amnesia off, raising his special defense 2 stages. But luckily he should waste one of his potions or whatever, yes. And then we can get off another Giga Drain and see how much that does, and then I can gauge what I want to do from there. Right, I'm hoping it does more than half. Unfortunately it doesn't, so I think my best bet would be go for the Mach Punch just to get a tiny bit of damage in. Put it down. Oh, but it goes for the Earthquake. But I'm grass. Yeah, since Jessica is part grass, we do manage to resist it. And we do one final Giga Drain to take down his second Pokemon of Whiscash. And down his Sir Whiskeringtons goes. Next up is Celio. I believe I shall go back into Excel for this, even though Jessica could possibly take it down easily. His third Pokemon, Celio, level 43, Thick Fat for the ability, meaning fire and ice types do half the damage. Knows the moves Encore, Body Slam, Ice Ball, and Water Pulse. Again, a few tricky moves, but since Celio isn't that much of a great Pokemon as of yet, it should still be no problem. Just be careful of, you could get stuck in the same move with Encore, and you could get paralyzed with that Body Slam. And Water Pulse also has the ability to, what's the word? Confuse. But as you saw, his next Pokemon, Groudon, so I will switch back into Jessica for this. His fourth Pokemon, Groudon, level 43 and Hypercutter for the ability, meaning its attack stat cannot be lowered by things like Intimidate or Growl. Knows the moves Crabhammer, Water Pulse, Leer, and Taunt. Although Groudon is well known for having high attack, Crabhammer and Water Pulse are its only damaging moves, and since it knows Leer, which lowers regular defense, both of its attacks are special attacks, you should really have no problem with this. The worst you may come into is getting obviously confused by Water Pulse again. and his last Pokemon, Kingdra. For this, I'm going to my usual scumbag tactics of, if you know what it is, well, I'm just going to switch into Beryl. But his 5th and final Pokemon, Kingdra, level 46, so the toughest thing we've seen so far. With Swift Swim for the ability, so again, double speed in rain, and hold item of Chesto Berry, so it's instantly awoken from sleep. Knows the moves Water Pulse, Rest, Ice Beam, and Double Team. So if you haven't gathered already, the thing it likes to do is rest to heal itself fully, and then bring itself straight back to being awake with that Chesto Berry. But like I said, I'm going to go with my regular scumbag tactic of hopefully getting off the curse, which from the look of things I will, seeing as how it just goes through the Double Team, which, even though I've managed to get the curse off, that Double Team could still spell trouble, seeing as though it's raised its evasiveness. So we cut our HP in giving it a curse. So no matter what, we will at least get that quarter damage every turn. So I'm going to go for Shadow Ball and just do as much damage as I can before I go down with Beryl. Oh wow, luckily we managed to survive it, but of course we missed. I'm going to be a bit of a scumbag and do the cheap tactic of healing my Pokemon because I know Beryl has a habit of going down mid-battle due to that curse. Right, he goes to the Ice Beam. I know we can handle that, no problem. Right, and Kingdra goes for the curse. So either he's going to heal. Yeah, it uses Rest for that instant heal. And as you will see, once it recovers, wait for it, and there is the Chesto Berry for the instant awakening. But luckily we managed to get our Shadow Ball off, so that's essentially two curses worth of damage. So hopefully if we can survive this last hit and actually manage to hit it, we should win. So I'm gonna hope... well, I was going to hope Beryl doesn't go down, but looks like that isn't happening. Right, I'm gonna go into Jessica and hope the plan of what I'm going to do does work. Right, curse. So I assume he's going to heal again this turn, yep. So I'm going to go for the Leech Seed so we can have the Curse Seed running side by side. Alright, that's that going, up and running. So we've got the Leech Seed sapping his health, and we have the Curse at the same time. So that's a good third of his health every turn, but my guess is going to go... I'm going to predict he's going to use Ice Beam again, so I'm going to switch into Gwen for this. Yes, and I predicted correctly. Right. Not very effective, good. Sapped health from Leech Seed. And the Curse. Right, I realise, with the exception of that one Shadow Ball, I haven't touched this Kingdra. And since it knows Water Pulse, I'm going to predict it uses that Water Pulse. So I'm going to switch into Amanda, just so I can resist whatever attack he may throw. But no, right, he goes for the Rest, so I'll just speed that up. And I'm going to take this chance to revive Beryl, so that she may get the experience from the end of this battle. Right. And I'll go for the Psychic in the hope that we've won. If this Psychic doesn't finish it off, the Leech Seed Curse combo definitely will. And just like that, the final Pokemon of the final Gym Leader has been taken down. 4 of our Pokemon get experience, but we've defeated 1. Ha ha ha! Excellent. Very well, you are the winner. From you, I sense the brilliant shine of skill that will overcome all. However, compared with me, or even Wallace, you are lacking in elegance. Perhaps I should make you a loan of my outfit. Ha ha ha! I merely jest. Rather than my clothes, I shall reward you with this, the Rain Badge. And yes, with the Rain Badge we are able to use Waterfall outside of battle. I do apologise for the hideously bad accent I've given him, but I do enjoy doing this. Having the Rain Badge shall assure you the full obedience of all your Pokemon from every command. The rain badge also allows to use the HM move Waterfall to scale waterfalls of cascading water. And so that you never forget the battle we shared, take this. And yes, for defeating Juan, I nearly said Wallace, he gives you TMO3, which is Water Pulse. And like he says, it can occasionally confuse Pokemon. And even though that was his move of choice, I don't actually think he ever used it once. And yes, here, if you go down here, you can see the layout of the trainers. But that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm glad you watched. And as I heal, and off screen I'm probably going to go, you know, defeat all those swimmers that are never defeated on screen. And also I'll be probably teaching Amanda, I forgot who it was, Waterfall in place of Dive, so that we may, if I can get to the map, make it to our next and final destination of Evergrande City. See you then. Bye.